Patrick Minor, but some things changed after I graduated, where I had my name changed. So Patrick Minor, Patrick Robinson, I'm the same. I'm 252 area code. I graduated Warren County High School in 2013. Did not have plans to come to NCCU. Um, I was originally, NCCU was number 5 on my list out of the top 5 schools. It was number 5. UNC Chapel was number 1, but it was something about, I went with one of my friends from back home, and when him and I touched campus the first time, it was just like it was amazing. And it was like, okay, yeah, this is where I need to be at. And after attending, I always knew I wanted to study business, regardless of what school I was going to attend. I won numerous scholarships my senior year, like $25,000, like almost $25,000 in scholarships. And with that, and plus like the Pell grants and all my other grants and what the school was giving me, like it paid for my second, third, and fourth year entirely. My first year is the only year that I owe money back to the government for. I kept applying my second and third year and fourth year as well to get scholarships those years that just paid for everything. My senior year, I have had the opportunity of becoming Mr. North Carolina Central University, which paid for everything that year: housing, food, housing. It paid for everything besides tuition. It paid for my housing, the food on campus, a lot of my books, and the university paid me as well. And that stemmed from opportunity that I had with the School of Business. Ms. Brain asked me to sub one day for Mr. School of Business, and I ran into the right people, and they loved the way I carried myself, and they had an interesting opportunity that I decided to take advantage of, and it led to all of that plus more. Um, so rewinding just a little bit back to my freshman year, like Ms. Williams was saying, me coming in, just hitting the ground hard, knowing what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, just needing the guidance to just get there. Like I'm not sure a lot of you all's like classification, but regardless of the classification, it's never too late to stem your plan. Like you can't move forward unless you have a plan where to move forward to. Like whether it's a week from now, a month from now, the rest of the semester next year, is good to set up those goals and meet those goals. So that way you can see yourself pushing forward. And that's what I tried to do my freshman year. I knew when I came in, I needed someone to help guide me. It was a lady there named Mr. Marsh that introduced me to Miss Brame, and between Miss Brame and I, that's the connections just started exploding. Yeah, they just really started exploding. Got really became really good friends with Miss Williams and a lot of my professors, and I listened to what they had to say. One of my finance professors, I started off as a marketing student. My sophomore year, when I got into that marketing class and I was listening to the professor, I was just like, oh, I can't do this all my life. And so I changed to finance because I've always been a numbers type of guy. So I was listening to that finance professor, and I had failed a class of his one day, and he was like, a test of his, and he was like, Patrick, you're a smart guy, but you're just going off of like just raw intuition. Like I could tell you didn't study for this test. And he was right. I didn't study for the test. And he was like, if you want to be like essentially be the best and pass this class and any other classes as I continue to move forward in my college career, he was like, you got to put forth that extra effort. So my senior year, my sophomore and junior year, I stayed off campus, but I still stayed on campus, if that makes sense. Like I was in class from 9:25 Monday through Thursday till about 3 o'clock every day. And from 3 o'clock to 9, 10, 11 o'clock, I was in the library completely studying Monday through Thursday. I never believed in having classes or doing any type of work on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So, but for them 4 days, I went hard, and I was literally in the library probably 7 to 10 hours after each class on. I would leave and go to the caf and stuff, of course, but I was right back to the library. And those 2 years of doing that just pushed me so far ahead of the game in my academics, and just really consuming the knowledge and knowing more, like learning more and more what I wanted to get into. So when my senior year came along and I had that awesome opportunity as Miss NCCU, I was really chilling because I had did all the hard work. So all that to say, if you start early, you don't have to necessarily finish late. You get that drive at the beginning because it's hard to make up for the things your junior and senior year of the things of which you could have done your um, freshman year. Really, and I'm not going to even say freshman and sophomore. I'm going to say your freshman year because that way you can just not relax, but you need your junior and senior year especially to be focusing on what you're going to do the next 4 years of your life. It was another finance professor, and Miss Brain can call his name. I forget it every time, but this stuck quote with me during orientation. He was like, "You can play these 4 years and work hard for the next 40, or you can work hard for these 4 and play for the next 40." As Miss Williams mentioned, I'm on my 5th year out of undergrad, and some days I feel old, some days I don't. But I'm in my 40 years of playing. Once I graduated my senior year, actually a year before I graduated, I met this awesome man named Kevin Trapani, and I walked up to I was actually late to one of his talks, but I seen him and Miss Williams as I was coming up the hill by the School of Business. And I was like, he looks important. And especially if Miss Williams with him, then he has to be important. So I went and introduced myself to him while Miss Williams was there. Miss Williams has just awesome things to say about me because I had a great track record within the School of Business because of my networking skills and my academics. And Kevin and I, we had the chance to talk prior to his talk, which I feel like gave him some comfort in having his talk. And I always said in the front row in my classes, after I learned that you can retain more knowledge than a person that's sitting in the back row, opposed to sitting in the front row, I just started sitting in the front row because it's like if I'm guaranteed, or I'm not gonna say guaranteed, but more than likely to retain more information than sitting in the back because I don't want to be called on or because I'm not feeling like being in class today, whatever the reason is, I'm just gonna sit in the front. So I did the same thing when I sat in his talk, and I was the only one to sit there. And he referred to me throughout his talk, which was probably approximately an hour long because I was the only one there. And that made me stand out against my peers, and it was approximately like maybe 60 to 70 is in there, 50 at the least, and I'm the only one in the front row of the Miller Morgan auditorium. So right after, I was the first one to speak with him and the last one to speak with him after his talk. And things right here, I gave him my 30-second pitch. After my 30-second pitch, he told me to reach out to Ms. Murchison, which was his executive chief of staff, and he got me in there for the interview for that summer position as a summer fellow, and I had the fellowship that summer. And at the end of that summer, I was offered a full-time job. So really, I started playing my 40 plus years a year before school because everything I had came to accomplish was everything that I had came to accomplish was necessarily accomplished in my 3 years because of my 3 years of hard work. So going into my senior year, I had always took 15 to 21 credit hours. One semester I had to literally go to the dean of academics and Alexander Dunn to have my classes approved. And since he knew who I was and knew my will and faith to get through these classes, he approved them. So that, like I said, that put me way ahead of the game for my senior year. I had 4 classes, which were just 4 classes each semester, one each semester. So 2 total was elective classes. So it was only 3 main classes. I was out of class every day, probably by 1 o'clock, and which allowed me enough time to get my work together, be Mr. NCCU, and have a social life. And that's how, and know I got a job that all I have to do is maintain this 3.0. I graduated with a 3.3 cumulative and a 3.5 my last semester. So I set myself up early, and that's my best advice to you guys that's on the call now and everyone that's listening, to set yourself up early so that way you're not trying to play catch up later. I know sometimes I'm overly ambitious. I'm an overly ambitious guy, and it's nothing wrong with being overly ambitious, because even though now I'm currently in my 40 years, like I'm 26, so I graduated at 21, so 40 years is 61. I'm still like in these 40, I'm still planning for the next 22, 40 years after I'm 60. So and so that's where the overly ambitious part comes in. Like I'm still planning for the next stage in life. Currently I work with so after I stayed with the Redwoods group, that's where Kevin, he was the CEO as, and that's where I had the internship that 2016 summer and went into a full career 2017 summer after graduation. And I stayed with Kevin and the group of lovely employees that I met my 2016 summer for about 3.5 years. I left at the end of 2020, like mid pandemic. Because once you graduate, you have to know what type of work setting is good for you. And I knew being at home all the time, Monday through Friday, that wasn't the type of person I am. Like I love people, I love to explore. I like to like people give me energy. I like to feel the sun on my skin. That gives me energy. So after I left October 2020, I went to work with FedEx Ground because that okay. So rewinding a little bit, July of 2020, while I was still with FedEx, I received an offer from the United States government, Department of Navy. And I accepted the offer, interview, had a good conversation. The process was kind of extensive, but around in October, I just knew that that setting at home for me, like I was with Redwoods because of the pandemic, I just need, and I felt like I had been doing the Redwoods for a good amount of time, about 3.5 years. So I decided to leave in October of 2020. And once I left, I worked for FedEx Ground, and it gave me everything that I was looking for. Like a lot of people that attend college and attend just different places don't think about moving into a field like FedEx, especially if you pay so much for a degree or if you have other ideals in life. But it's always good to explore your options because the trades are not in schools anymore. They have these trade schools in them. So I found a way to get in without having to do any of that. Like I became a FedEx driver, and I'm still doing FedEx driving while working for the United States government. Because one is good money, and then for two is it's something I really love doing. And I've been there since April. I started April 2021 um, for um, for FedEx Ground. That was my first day on the job, and yeah. So once I started there, I just worked FedEx, and I had a couple other jobs just exploring because I knew I had the Navy in the back of my pocket. I was just really waiting on a call, and waiting for all my like all my documents and stuff to go through and be clear. And um, I moved to the DMV, Arlington, Virginia, and a year ago. March 23rd, 2021. So I'm sorry, my dates are messed up. I started April 2020 for FedEx, and I started up here. I transferred up here April 2021 to Arlington, Virginia. And I began with the Navy in January of 2022. And me maintaining their relationships and the rapport with my supervisors, both in the Navy and FedEx, they've allowed, like we worked out a schedule where I can continue to do both. The Navy, because it has the flexible hours, like I'm working today, but I'm working from home because I know I wanted to attend, and Miss Williams asked me to attend this, so it was work I could do from home today. With FedEx, and with the schedule with the Navy is also like I'm on 3 12-hour shifts. So I go and essentially Monday through Wednesday, and I do 3 hours. And I do 12 hours for those 3 days, and to get to my 40 hours a week. Like maybe an extra hour somewhere in between those days so I can get my 40 hours a week. But all that to say, I found something that eventually works for me the way because I like getting paid. Like everybody likes getting paid. They love making money. And if you're in a business school, then you love making money in a combination of helping people. And those were the two things that kind of been driving me since my start in the business school, was making money and helping people. Um, and now doing both is like, it's a great feeling to be here at 26 and seeing where you come from. And it's a reminder. I get so caught up in dream chasing sometimes. It's a great reminder to come back to events like these to it's a check for me, just to like, okay, Pat, you've been working, you've seen the things that you've accomplished, you're hearing it, because if not, I wouldn't be here. um so these are really good for me as well, and I hope they do help you guys, because I know they had these events as when I was coming through school, but all of us didn't listen as well as we should have. And over the years of me coming back, there have been individuals who have listened and who have taken that advice that me and my peers have been giving to them and passing back, just like I took the ones from those that came before me. But I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough of those that could be taken and using the advice and the resources. This is not just advice. Hopefully by the end of this conversation that you all can take my email contact information down and reach out, let me know what you need, how I can be of assistance to you, the troubles that you go through out in college these days. Because I mean, I know I just been out 5 years, but this COVID pandemic has completely reshaped my perception on college, and may have reshaped yours too. So I'd love to hear about it and see what type of just see what type of advice and assistance I can give back to you all. And I like to think I'm a great liaison between the students and faculty, hence the position I had with North Carolina Central University. I know I'm not on campus like I used to be, but I still have a lot of great ties to the university, like it was. So if you have anything that you think I can help with on that end of the spectrum too, I definitely don't mind trying. The worst thing anybody can ever tell you is no, but I'm not one of those people that you tell yourself no first. Like, never tell yourself no, and because you are your biggest obstacle when it comes to the things that you want to achieve in life and do in life and see yourself as in life. If you tell yourself no first, then it's going to be hard for you to make it anywhere you want to be. Miss Brame I was down like a month ago, and she still has this like a block with a frog on the picture that says jump at every opportunity. And I interned with Miss Brain for a semester in 2014, the fall semester of 2014. And I looked at that, just that piece of art every day for one semester. And it is drilled in my head, jump at every opportunity. And not just at the opportunities that others come and present you with, but at the opportunities that you can create and make for yourself. In addition to working, while I've been out of school, I've had the opportunity to start a business, a clothing line business. And while actually in school, I started a scholarship fund to give away scholarships to the students that came from the same communities I did, because I knew I wouldn't be where I at without the community that I came from. Most of those scholarships that I mentioned at the beginning of my conversation, um, they came from my hometown, like organizations, people who had just put together scholarships. And me coming from there, I just never felt like it was people around like that, because I never saw those people. But since I did what I was supposed to do, and all that in high school and even in college, when it was my time, I didn't have to see them; they saw me. I, and I knew they saw me. I knew they noticed me and my hard work once I got the State Employees Credit Union scholarship, because it's not a scholarship that you apply for; it's a scholarship that you're just like essentially awarded, sponsored by State Employees Credit Union. And those from North Carolina know what State Employees is, and those who have those accounts know that they take $1 every month, because I have one just simply for the purpose of them getting my $1 every month, that they can give it back to a student at the each year that receives $10,000 to go to school. And I received that scholarship I received $2,500 of the $10,000 every year for the 4 years that I was in school. All I had to do was maintain I believe it was a 2.5, 2.75 grade point average. My GPA never dropped under 3.1. So all that to say is just making sure you give yourself the opportunity, so you can give somebody else the same opportunity or a better one day in the future. We only as good as the people that we help and that we help create. And I'm not here by myself. Like I gave quite a few accomplishments today, but I'm definitely not here by myself. I'm a survivor of sickle cell disease, which has been like a big pusher for me in my life, because I know, like, when it comes to like to me, when I look at life, everything is like things are built, things are material. But when it comes to like an introspective, like look at yourself, like it's just you. And me with sickle cells, it's like at the end of the day, like I have this disease, I've had it all my life, I was born with it, it's not ever going anywhere, I'm there. And it's nothing I can do to change that. And I realized that at a young age. So it's like, how can I use this disease, and how can I use the people that are going to support me and like help me thrive? My mom, my dad, my grandma, my girlfriend, my brother. Like, how can we all just make the best of this situation when the worst things happen? And I mean, I found that throughout life. I found those good people to help support me, like my teachers, Miss Brain, Miss Williams, like my professors, understanding, like if I'm going to cry during my senior year, my first week being Mr. NCCU officially on campus, I was in the hospital for an entire week. Um, yeah, I was in the hospital for an entire week, just laid there, like getting ready for this all summer. And I mean, winning awards back and forth, New Orleans, Savannah. It was doing community events, with my advisor in the court, like. And then the first week, boom, just I'm in the hospital for a whole week. Just And then after, everyone has life issues. Like last day in the hospital, my younger brother, he gets incarcerated for the next 6 months of my senior year, spring term. And so everyone has these obstacles that you face in life, but it's how you're going to stand firm in them. Because adversity is going to either break you or it's going to make you. And if you let it break you, moral story, don't let adversity break you. Like, is nothing in life that is given to you on your plate that you can't overcome. But letting it make you the person you come out at the end of the day, you're stronger, you're ready for the next battle, because there's always going to be some type of battle. I've been fortunate enough to not be sick, and maybe the last, like sick like that, and maybe the last 2 to 3 years, with actually not having to be in the hospital. So, which is an accomplishment. Thank you, Ms. Williams, for the round of applause. And it is an accomplishment, but I know it's coming back. Like, I can't run from this. All I can do is worry about how what I'm going to do in the meantime, so that way when I know my sickle cells, it returns, I mean, not returns, like when the pain crisis returns, or I have to go to the hospital for another 3 days, week, or the longest I've ever been in the hospital at one time was 23 days. And like, I hope I never have to be there again, but it's what am I doing in the meantime, where I'm preparing for whatever amount of time that I have to relax and like go through what I go through. And like, everybody's battle is different, everybody's struggle is different. Yours is not like mine, and mine is not like yours. But it's the process. The process is the same. What are you going to do in the meantime? So whenever you go through hard times, you giving yourself enough momentum and enough confidence, courage to come through that time. Um, whether that's in your academics, whether you're facing like something like I have, or whether you're clean slated, no personal issues, no health issues, no academic issues, because it is people out there like that has a clean slate, but you always have adversity coming at the end of the day, when that could be for people, for any type, it could be people in their job. You could come down with like COVID, the flu, like how are you going to prepare now so it won't sting as bad later on in the day? Um, which was, I think that's the gist of everything that I wanted to like, but my introduction getting off to make sure that everyone knows about me. I'm not sure if you had any questions to help me think about some more things, or how do you want to go about
Well, first off, I'm always impressed with you, but I'm just sitting here just beaming. I had to take my internet is bad, so I had to turn off my camera because like you keep freezing. So
it?
hopefully you weren't freezing on everybody else's end. But no, I'm so incredibly proud of you. And yeah, you tell your story so well, and you just had to see my little, confirmations and stuff in the chat box. But there's so
Yeah.
many things about you and how you really approach this experience that I honestly talk about in almost every class. I'm sure some of the students that are on the call now have heard me reference the fact that, hey, you need to be present, is important for us to know who you are, so that when we do have the opportunity to present you in front of people, you got it. And I think that's it. You were always there and continue to be, because I'm learning new stuff about your journey and about, what you're doing now. So it doesn't surprise me at all, but you're always somebody who's going to take full advantage of everything. And I think that is just an amazing way to be. So I just want to say, I love that. Congratulations to you. And I definitely want your continued guidance and mentorship with our students. So I want to just open up the floor for any questions any students may have. Again, feel free to use the chat. Feel free to unmute.
I thought we had some. Oh, I thought we had somebody.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay. Yep.
Hey, how you doing? And my question is, what kept you motivated to keep striving? Like, even though sometimes things weren't going your way, like what kept you motivated to like keep striving and keep going?
Okay. With the Cameron, right?
Yes.
All right. What's up, Cameron? Man, to be completely honest and just like open and blunt with you, bro, I got a point to prove. I've been having a point to prove since I don't know, since I was in middle school. And I never knew how to prove that point. And I think a lot of our points in life that we want to make are like derived from an early age, whether somebody wronged you or whether you don't think you were good enough at a sport, like whatever the case was. Like I think things like that, it follows you. Um, and that's that make or break point that I was talking about. Like you can let it make you, or you can make it break you. Like, and I said that breaking is an option, but a lot of people do break. They don't continue to move forward on those points that they want to prove. And they get lost in pride, thinking like, oh, I don't gotta prove nothing to nobody. And no, you don't, but you owe that to yourself to prove it to yourself. Like maybe at the beginning it started off proving as a point to me for anybody else, but that carried me to eventually just not caring about proving that point to them. I want to prove that point to myself. And still to this day, like I have a point to prove to myself. As I mentioned, I've been struggling with sickle cells from day one. It's gotten better over the years, but somewhere in the middle, like between 12 or 13 to like 17, I just had that point that I wanted to prove, like, man, I can beat this. I'm not like the other kids that I see with this disease. I'm not helpless. I don't need my mama holding my hand, my grandma. Like I come from, I'm from the 252. I was born in Southern Virginia and raised in Eastern North Carolina. It's rough out there, and in certain places, it's better than the other. But if they see you weak, then they treat you weak. To me, in my mind, I'm the strongest out of all of us because as a kid, you don't know what I go through, of why I gotta stay clear or just indulge in things that others don't indulge in. So in my mind, I'm stronger than you because you don't face this. Like those are the people I'm talking about. Cameron, that has like a clean slate, that don't really understand and know what it's like um to like struggle with anything else that the world has, like the outside materialistic things has put on them. But when really it's not on you, it's in you. And that sickle cell for me, it was something that's in me. Like I'm battling, I got to battle people on the outside, and I got to battle people on the outside. I got to prove my point to them. But in all actuality, when I proved my point to myself, they saw, like, maybe after my junior year of high school, I had learned to prove that point to myself, and the right people started gravitating to me, to where it was like the others, it didn't phase me anymore. After I won those scholarships, it was like the respect of just the people that were around me, the respect in academics, like it changed the complete ball game for me, because I proved that point to myself that, yeah, I can go to school. I can put myself through school. My junior year of high school, my mom, she was unemployed that year. She made $9,999, and I think like 60% of it was from the unemployment checks, or like that year. And she was unemployed like maybe, I think, like 8 months out of my senior year. So it's like when I brought her in there to like show her this tuition bill, because that means none of us, I'm a first generation college student, so none of us had ever seen like a tuition bill or knew any other else way to pay for it, but taking out loans. Like we didn't really know about scholarships or anything like that. So when I showed her that bill, my middle name's Omar, she was like, Omar, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this. Like, and I don't never like seeing my mama with that look in her eye, because she see I want to go. She know I got the grades to go, but she trying to figure out, how can I send him here? And it was just like seeing that on her face, it was just like, well, don't worry about it. I got it. Like I had a point to prove, but I never would have made it through that point without just gravitating, or having those right people gravitate to me. I had an academic advisor my senior year. He had just graduated UNC Chapel, was the main reason I wanted to go there. And he was like, don't worry about it. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna work through it. All this, that, and the third. And I mean, like every free period that I had in high school while everybody was leaving at 12 o'clock in the day, I'm still riding the bus home, because it's like, man, I got to figure out a way to get out of here. This man right here, his name was Javon Cross. If he's telling me I can get out because he's been out, then I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna take it, because that's the best option I got right now. Other option I got, leave with them at 12 o'clock and just forget it. I can do that. If I don't make it, I can still do that next year. Like, because either they're gonna be my friends, they're gonna be in the same spot, or they're gonna be in the same neighborhood. So I'm not missing out on that. So I might as well, I owe it to myself right now to bet on myself and to prove that point to myself. So that's what I did, man. Moral of the story is I had to prove that point, and I got up out of there, and I just kept that same habit throughout college. Like anytime, like I was fortunate enough my freshman and sophomore year to have the same Alexander Dunn academic advisor in college that I started off with in my high school. His name was Jonathan Ricks. And once I found out Mr. Ricks was there, I was like, Mr. Ricks, I want you as my guidance counselor. And then I had another one right across the hall, Ms. Burchett. She came from the same high school. So between one of them two, I just kind of locked in with them. And I was like, I need y'all to help me. I don't know what I'm doing. Can y'all help me figure out these classes? And between Ricks and Ms. Burchett, it's like they got it done. And it was even to the point, after you graduate from the academic part in your freshman and sophomore year, if I didn't feel like I could get everything going like I needed in the School of Business, I would go back to them. Because around that point, like your junior, senior year, they used to like let us pick our own courses and stuff like that. I was a responsible person, but I always needed confirmation that I'm doing this right, because you've been doing your job longer than I've been in school. What's the track that you've seen students like me mess up on? How can you prevent me from messing up? I don't care how hard the class is or how many I got to take. If you give it to me, then it'll get done. I know that part. So but I don't know the right projections that I need. And between like I said, Miss Williams, Miss Brain, and the two academic advisors, Miss Burchett and Jonathan Ricks that I had over there, they just kept me on that path of like just recycling the point. Okay, I got a point to prove. The point in college right now is to continue to paying for college. I can do this. Like I never called my mom asking for a dime, because it's like I never worked in school either. Like I'm gonna get that out. I never worked in college. And like I didn't believe in, because I never had a job in high school. So I didn't really know how to manage that time. So it was something that I never did. So I was like, okay, I got to get this money some other way. So I applied for enough scholarships where I got refunds back that would last me each semester. And then every summer I knew I needed a job. I've been interning since 2012. I was a rising senior. I've been having paid internships since 2012, heading into my senior year. Never, not ever. 2013 was the only summer I didn't have an internship or any type of job, but I had saved and stacked up so much money that year I didn't really need a job. I just had to make sure I got to school, keep applying for scholarships, got my refunds, get the summer internship, keep going, graduate with a job. And having them points to prove to myself and them goals to hit, Cameron, at the end of the day, is just, that's how I stay motivated. Because if I didn't, I lose it all. Like if I don't, I come back to my neighborhood, and then I'm a guy that went to school, but I ain't finished school. Those have came back to my neighborhood. I didn't want to be like them. They were working at the Walmart, and there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart. I worked at Walmart distribution for like 6 months, like 4 to 6 months, or like that. I got paid good money, but it's just like, I know I can't do any long time labor like that, because at the end of the day, I have a sickness that a lot of people do have, but a lot of people that just aren't, whether you have the disease or not, they aren't built like me. And I'm not about to say, oh yeah, I can retire off this job in 40, 50, and knowing I might, if me working here putting this type of strain on my body, then I might not make it that long. So I gotta find something. This is good quick money, but I need to find something long term, and going to school and being the best, trying to be the best there was my best option long term. So just making sure, so ultimately answer your question, I had to keep recycling my point to myself, to obtain the goals that I wanted in life, and to make the type of money that I wanted to make.
Thank you for your answer.
No problem, man. Good question. Anybody else on and got a question? It's like 4 of y'all on my screen. Ariana, got Cameron, Raven, Gloria. We got like 15 minutes left. I took off. Well, I didn't take off, but I decided to work home for the day so I can help Ms. Williams with this call. So nobody with any other questions? Oh, I see. Okay, there y'all go. I see Elena, Trina, Brianna, Ariana, Cameron, Raven, Gloria. And so the fact that y'all logged on, because I know this is publicized, so the fact that y'all logged on, y'all got to have some type of questions and want to know something that I could potentially help with y'all with. If y'all heard something, y'all just wanted to see if I was a real person, like help me out, y'all.
Hey, Patrick.
Oh, hey.
How you doing? When you said Trina, that's me. Hey, I did not know that you are a Warren County Eagle.
I am a Warren County Eagle.
Man, I graduated many years before you did, but yeah, I graduated from Warren County High.
Okay. Okay, so we two-time
people.
Yeah, we good people. Yes. Yeah. We were two-time Eagles before we got our masters.
That's right. That's what they always called us, the baby Eagles, because we had that maroon and gray before, way back then.
Yep, definitely. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. But when you said that, I was like, wait a minute, that's Warren County High.
Yeah, that's Warren County.
Yeah. So, but it's good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. And as always, you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Oh, you know what?
So Pat, why those students are getting their thoughts together and all that, I don't have to tell you how I feel about you. I just so much appreciate all that you do for us and things you did while you were in school. I always had you to share with other students your journey. And I hope that has inspired a lot of students then, and I hope it has inspired a lot of students today. And, we preach all the time about things students can do now to get themselves in position as you are. But the other part of it, just being a good person, and working hard and, having, just having all the things, the desire to help others, just like the scholarship you started in high school to help somebody else. And right now, you're getting up in age, but you are still trying to help others. So I hope that if nothing else, the students take from your conversation today, that they will realize that you've been there, done that, can be done. All they need to do is just put yourself out there, and then reach back and help someone else. So I can't thank you enough for all that you have done and are doing for the School of Business and NCCU.
Oh, no problem, Ms. Brain. If you and Miss Williams call, it's nothing but a word.
Love that. Love that. Well, listen, we're not going to hold you because I do know that you're busy, but I want to just, if you could just kind of close us out with just maybe some just advice or just some parting thoughts about, kind of encouragement, because it's been some difficult times here. We've had to, move from online to face. You may mention of that and understanding kind of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But, what are some things that, you can kind of shout out in terms of encouragement for our students as they move on within their experience here?
Okay. So I feel like every time I come back to one of these talks, my advice, it changes just a little bit, and that's based off me growing in life. And so I'm to answer the question that Ms. Williams texted me is never forget the basics of where you come from, what you got to do, and where you want to be. Never forget those basics in life. I know over the last 2-3 years, we've been through a lot of things, from COVID to still maintaining personal lives, or trying to maintain personal lives with family, friends, co-workers, school, from adjusting to online to in person, and from in person to online back to in person, all the different laws, regulations, and vaccines, the things that some people do and don't believe in. Like, we've had a lot of things on our plate, and we're living in a world right now where you have like 5 to 6 generations of different perspectives. And with all those people and all those perspectives and all the moving pieces, the best advice I can offer, I feel like anybody right now, is to never forget the basics. My mom, she graduated high school in 2005. She went to back advanced Granville and obtained her degree after maybe like 12, after being out of school for 7-8 years. She went back and got her degree, high school degree, high school diploma. And she's never been to college. My first time being to college was my first time my mom being to college was when I was in college. Like, a lot of the things I experienced at that point in time, my mama was experiencing for the first point in time too. Because I brought her along for the ride. Like, Mom, getting this reward today, or I'm doing this today. Or if I was even going out to a party, like, Mom, I'm going out to a party. I called my mom for my first drink. Like, I was keeping her up to date when a lot of those things she had did, but a lot of things that she had never got to see. But something my mom always told me was to never forget the basics. Like, the biggest one was, you are your biggest triumph. Like, you can be your biggest supporter, or you can be your biggest triumph. And that's what I mean by the basics. Like, never forget why you're doing this and what you want out of this. Because if you master those two things, and the earlier you master them, the better you'll be. But but long as you master them, regardless of when you master them, you'll still be okay. Because I say that because, given all of these things that's happened over the last few years, it's like, if you master that, you can adapt to anything. So the biggest takeaway is adaptation. But you have to understand the basics in life, and your life and other people's lives. And because if you don't get them, it's going to be it's going to be hard. You're not going to have a foundation or any roots to return to when things get hard. You just, you're kind of lost. And I don't want anyone in life to be lost. That's why I come back and try to guide. Because being lost out here it's no fun. I mentioned my younger brother earlier. I still think he's out here lost. Like he got a big brother like me. I mean, like blood brothers. And I got my faults just like Dante, my little brother, got his faults. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to lead him, but he has to, lead himself too. He has to learn those basics so he can continue to adapt to life. And I just want to leave y'all with that. Like, make sure y'all know those basics so you can adapt to your surroundings no matter how they change for you. That was it for me.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Just so many gems that come out of you. I tell you. I mean, are you sure like 26? Well, you sure you're not like 56? Because I swear you done lived your life so fully and has such a level of clarity and understanding. I mean, I'm double your age. Well, not double, almost double your age right now. And I'm sitting here taking notes. So I just can appreciate all that you receive from your experiences, and that is a wonderful gift to have. So continue to move in that way. But we thank you. We thank you for spending time with us. We thank you for sharing with the students. We do have this recorded, so I'll put it on YouTube so that other students could, take a listen to it. I think they're going to get as fulfilled and filled through and inspired as we have been throughout this experience. So again, we thank you, and we certainly hope to see you really soon. Please do continue to take care of yourself.
I definitely will. Thank y'all.